Good morning. Good morning. I started the egg timer, so I'm going to try to turn over a new leaf. The new leaf is I want to do shorter videos. They'll upload faster, for one thing, when I'm on the outskirts and the marginal areas of Wi-Fi. They'll upload faster, and I don't want to have to run the generator as much, and I still don't understand the electrical systems in this rig yet. It's much better than the previous rig. It is a better quality of life. Not to say that I understand how to make the most of it at all, but it has tremendous capability compared to my last rig, and for that I am forever grateful. Now, I did take the dog for a run this morning, as I promised, and I actually ran probably twice as much as yesterday, and I ran on grass. The grass had just been mowed. It's not very long, but it's really wonderful, soft. And I found a nice level area that didn't have any holes or, pits in it, so I ran that. And it feels pretty good. My hearing is still discombobulated. I just can't quite describe it. The right ear still is kind of grungy. The left ear still seems like I'm underwater. I spoke with the Navage people, and as many of you have been with me for a while know, I like the Navage system. I approve it, I endorse it, because it is basically a biomechanical system that doesn't use drugs, unless you consider salt water or eucalyptus oil drugs. And it to me seems like a really good part of one's daily regimen, and it was part of my teeth brushing routine. But apparently it's not working anymore, and it's because I'm already clogged up and congested. So I put that aside. I've talked to the physicians. I don't really want to go in and run the bill up anymore. I think this is a matter of time. Maybe running will help jog it loose. I don't know. Keep your prayers going. I want a full recovery. I want that full range of hearing that was so exquisite in my right ear. And I don't know if it's symbolic of me failing to shut up and listen, failing to hear something, or if it's symbolic of me trying to force my way, as what my buddy says his software pulled for when he did the testing. Well, basically, trying to make sure I'm heard. And I think that just might be the sense of desperation I have in this matter, because I've been hammered so hard in it. And today I'll find out more if I have to drive back to the heat of the desert prematurely and waste my substance that way. And I won't be able to do the repairs on this rig that are necessary. I mean, there's a good chance that I might just not be able to get that done before this fall. But I'm doing everything I can, and hopefully the judge will see all the evidence and look at it and realize that this merits a continuance, that there's some severe damages, and that it might need to move upward to the next higher court. I'd rather not do that, but I'm sorry, I'm at my wit's end. I cannot take the hammering that this business that once was good and has since changed. I can't take the hammering that they're intent upon giving me. They seem to think because I showed up in a diesel pusher that I'm made out of money and can pay anything. And they doubled the bill, and they've always in the past been very good. They've always explained the options and repairs. They told me the parts they were going to use, and it's usually manufacturer's parts, good stuff. And they told me to the penny what it was going to cost me, almost all the time. They were spot on. And they changed. Oh, and another thing is, when the job was done, they always gave me the old parts they had taken off. They didn't do any of that this time. I don't know what they had in mind, but, there was no clear agreement on any of this. And that's just the way it is now. Yeah, I guess I got myself into trouble because I trusted them. I trusted them to do the good work they've done in the past, and to not screw me like that. I told them I wanted to do the job. I was hoping to get it done for $2,000. that wasn't going to be good enough. I said, well, my maximum was $3,000. That's what it was. And what was the final bill? Well, I ended up with $3,000 twice. So it was double. That's not the worst part. They put on the wrong parts, the wrong size parts that are going to give me roof troubles in the future. And I don't know what else they did. I've got to chase down some electrical symptoms, some electrical anomalies now. And I still have water leaks. So I still got to chase those down. And I don't know what they did. And I'm not taking it back to them again. I'm not going to have anything more to do with them. After they threatened me, after the owner's son, the fellow who's inheriting the place, threatened me to my face on my property, threatened to smash out all my windows or slash my tires. And I didn't call the police on that one. I just wrote a certified letter and told the father, the owner of the business, he's not welcome. This is why. Don't send him back here again. But that's what he did. And I wish now I turned to the courts, but I've already had some experience with these courts, and they seem to not really be very responsive. And because this was one event, I would have had a rough time convincing the judge to give me an injunction against harassment, which would be called an order of protection somewhere else. And I also didn't think that this guy's, he's not going to abide by it. Most likely. I figured tell his father. Create a record of it and tell his father, and hopefully his father would be able to curtail him. But at this particular point, I can't go back there, and I can't recommend them. And I don't think this was a one-off either. I think this is the new way of doing business for them. I think that in their desperation, they've hired an unsavory sort who doesn't know what he's doing. He's screwed all this stuff up, to be honest with you. But even the owner's son chose wrong size parts. Even the owner, I guess, was in on that too. And they didn't ask me. They didn't clear it with me. They didn't inform me. There was no contract. Yet they breached the contract anyway. All right, I'm being a little too candid. I just have a little bit of time left. I am concerned about J.D. Vance for vice president. I don't think he's a good choice. I really think that Trump has showed us once again who his keepers are, and they have hamstrung Trump again. J.D. Vance, the only thing he has going for him is his youth. He's got some youth and some vigor, and he's also a pretty smart man. He's very wealthy already. And the sad thing about it is he's already owned by the foreigners who have invaded us and have controlled us. And of course, I know we all want to point our fingers at the Jews, but you have to realize that's just like the cannon fodder for this Babylonian beast system that really runs things. And those, of course, are front people for the black nobility, the families that have survived through the ages from the Roman senators. Yes, Rome never went away. And I know in the Bible it says that Yahweh gets upset mostly about Lorraine down, worshiping the Queen of Heaven. And I got news for you. I could be wrong, but I believe I've met the Queen of Heaven. And what I mean by that is that she is a human being that they worship on the planet, and they're following her lead. Remember that saying, God save the Queen? Well, the real problem was who was the Queen, because they always kept the Queen hidden, right? That was part of the game. So, I mean, and it was a jump up kind of shout out thing that was, I don't know, almost, it was playful. It was childlike. So I need you to understand that throne over there that you think is just a figurehead is far more active than what you realize. It is, it's been usurped. They're not the proper people on that. That happened a long time ago. And I've been trying to figure it out. We think it was about Cromwell's time that they usurped the throne and put the evil ones, the descendants of Cain, if you will, on the throne. So that's what we're dealing with. I don't really have much hope for the country unless people repent. And I don't see that happening. So unless Americans repent wholesale, big, and stop shedding innocent blood and give up what they consider these patriotic, idiotic ways of bombing poor, defenseless people around the world, come on, America. What kind of bully are you? I'm getting bullied in the courts right now. Looks like the court is going along with being used as a bully, too. I informed the court of the documents. The court might get upset with that for me saying that, but that's what it looks like to me. I don't want to be bullied. Do you want to be bullied? Well, that's what you're being at this point, is bullied from all sides. You're fighting on all spheres. There's nothing in your environment that wasn't engineered to be bad or toxic for you somehow. And the poisons have gotten worse. The chemicals have gotten worse over the years. And then also, there's more chips in everything as well. So they don't have to chip you. They just track the chips that you're wearing. They just track the chips in your wallet, the ones in your cell phone. And not only that, but the technology exists. I'm convinced that they can take a picture of us from the distance, and they can take a picture of the fingerprint, if you will, of perhaps your lungs. Perhaps your lungs will have a certain pattern. They say, oh, that's the lungs of so-and-so. We got that down. We got their lung print down. "12 minutes is up. Breakfast is done cooked. I like my eggs hard boiled. That's the way I prefer them. I like poached eggs. Don't know really how to make them. Had one of those egg makers. Didn't really like it much. We're getting a lot of people asking about the Bible and wanting to get connected. So I'm going to tell you right now, the connections that are out there are questionable. Why are they questionable? Because the FBI has put their agents in every sphere possible, including in the Christian identity movement. I don't like it, the name of it, much, so I'll call it a movement. I'll deride it as being somewhat cultish. But they put their men and their women in all of these fringe elements. And right now the government is so big that probably 1 out of every 7 people employed in the country, minimum, are working for the government. So when you tell me that you're free, no, you're not. You're enslaved. You've got to pay their wages, and you shouldn't even have to hire them. So we can cut this government back to size and give up a lot of these so-called services that are really, well, they're all traps. I don't like free things because it costs too much. I want to be able to pay for it. I want to be able to earn it. If I can't afford it, I will wait for it. I'll wait till the price comes down or till I actually have the wherewithal to just pay it. We need to change our currency to dimes of silver. Those little bitty silver coins, they're worth somewhere between $1.70 and $2.70. You need to have those in your pocket, because that's what we can trade with when they take this system down, and we can avoid using their slave currency, their cryptocurrency that's traced and can be shut off at any time. I realize the bulk of people are going to be going for that, but you also have to realize that they're intent upon genociding us all. So those people who put themselves under that much control will suffer the fate that occurs to them. And those of us who are on the fringes, maybe not eating so well in some ways, maybe we eat better stuff for us, but we don't have enough food, at least we will be hopefully having a little bit of a different fate that might be a little bit nicer. Who's to say what's going to be happening? I don't really trust Putin that much when he wants to work with Trump. I actually trusted him before then. No, I'm not anti-Trump. I just know what he is. I just know what he's capable of and what he's going to do. I know what he's not going to do. And he's not going to do any of the stuff you people out there think he's going to do. The only thing you should be holding Trump's feet to the fire for is to read the first 5 books of the Bible every day, to read the law and to abide by those laws. And anything that doesn't abide by those laws, he can't enforce, he can't burden us with. He needs to leave us alone. And left to our own devices with an honest currency like silver dimes, and maybe copper pennies, and silver quarters, I mean, that's going to be enough so that we can walk around with real money, honest money in our pockets, and we can discharge our debts honestly and honorably, and we can pull ourselves out of the morass they're going to stick us into. They've got us trapped. They built the fence up slowly around us as they fed us inside the trap. Then as we got more bold and just went in there for our regular meal because we were entitled to it, they put up the outer wall, the last wall, and they put up one rung at a time. So finally, we all, being so fat on the hog, could not jump over the fence, over the top gate. They had trapped us. That's America today. You have been force-fed, fed with the wrong stuff, and you think all kinds of marvelous, wonderful things about yourself because you do have the current disease, because it's very in vogue to be a narcissist. So even those of us who think we have no narcissism should reflect upon ourselves a little bit. And I can assure you, there's a lot more out there than what you realize. And of course, when I force you to hear my story, and I insist on my way being the way, and me being absolutely correct, that's not a fair deal. We have to be flexible, and we have to consider other perspectives. And I don't like drawing hard and fast conclusions, but sometimes we have to spit out the truth when we really know it. So I will declare that Yahweh exists. I believe this entire universe exists inside of Yahweh. So if you're looking for Yahweh as another dude walking around out there, a separate little entity that you can pinpoint, I don't think you're ever going to find him. You know, and I just don't think that since you're inside of this universe, which I think is inside of Yahweh, how are you going to be able to identify that? How are you going to get a perspective so you can say, yep, that looks like Yahweh, all right. Yep, seen him before. What do I compare him to? There is no other. You aren't going to get a good perspective on it. It's exercise of faith. And we are chosen by his grace for a long time ago. So wake up out there. Wake up, my brothers and sisters in Israel, and realize that we are the people of the book. We are written in the book of life, and names cannot be added to it. They can only be blotted out. That's the way I read it. If you read it differently, correct me. I'm open to hearing it. And I'm not saying we absolutely have to agree. We don't. If we did agree completely, I'd begin to worry about you. And I'd be worrying about me too, don't worry. I'd be worrying about both of us. So you take care. My eggs have been done for a while. The dog is happy. She's been out for a morning run. She asked me to let her out 3 times last night. And I respond all the time because that's the deal. So I know. She kind of runs the show here, and I don't like that. But Lorraine, come here. Come on. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Look at those ears go back. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. She likes it when I shave. I think, okay, good girl. Good girl. Yahweh bless.